All right. Apparently we're live. So, how about that? We're live. Oh my. So hopefully people will start jumping in soon, but we've got John Z's out there and Jason's out there. I wonder why they're not in here. They probably have to get up early tomorrow. Technically, so do I, but that's besides the point. So, all right. What's going on, Austin? AWAG.
Same old. Just a little stressed out, packing up, ready to move at the end of the month. Escaping New Jersey.
Oh, we need to make a movie. Escape from New Jersey.
Escape from Jersey.
No. What? No, I got this. We've had Escape from New York. We've had Escape from LA. We need Escape from Jersey City.
But I don't live in Jersey City.
Close enough. It's pretty bad.
I'll watch it.
Escape from New Germany.
No, it's Escape from New Jersey. We'll just say the entire state.
Okay.
How's it going?
How's it going?
Kids corralled?
I don't have. Her mom just picked her up a little bit ago. Every other Tuesday I have her overnight. Every other Tuesday I don't.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. And oh my, a George Cortez has jumped in.
Hello, guys.
Yes.
How's it going?
Yes, George, I sent you a link because I'm just like that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Scott P79 says, so is that why AWAG sold the PSL?
Yes, actually.
Yeah. He sold the PSL so he can move down to a freer state.
Oh, get this. The guy who bought it lives in South Carolina.
Wait, was it...
So there may be a chance in which I will run across my own creation again. It's a slim chance, but there's still a chance.
There's still a chance. But we're gonna build you a newer. We're gonna build you a newer, better one with a bayonet look on it.
Yes.
And while yes, they don't. I don't know if they made 30-round magazines for it, but I'm sure we could fold some steel and
there will be an attempt.
I'm sure we can fold some steel to make like a drum mag or something. Because it's South Carolina, right? Why not? But that means AWAG, if you're moving down here, leave your voting habits in New Jersey.
But I didn't vote. Ooh.
I'm going to start voting. Even if I have to drive you to the polls myself.
Okay.
The younger generation, I swear.
Don't worry. I'm a pro-freedom, pro-Second Amendment person. And by that, I mean all gun laws are an infringement. All of them.
No, see, the right response was, don't worry, shall not be infringed. That's the right response.
Nah, I gotta be a little more aggressive with that. I mean, you could scream shall not be infringed, but most people will be like, whoa, why is this guy shouting he shall not be infringed?
Oh! Wow, M. Gabriel saying transforms that SC into South New Jersey. Yes, no.
I escaped to New Jersey for a reason. And it's to obtain the standard capacity magazines and suppressors.
Yeah. Yep. You can have NFA items. So. I mean, just don't worry. George is literally at the border, so he's fine.
Also, I want my folding stock back on my SIG.
You'll have it. So, yep. All right, guys, it's 9 o'clock, so put your belts on, tighten up your pants, get everything ready so we can start hit or miss. All right, guys, welcome to Hit or Miss. I am your host, Night Strike, and we've got an interesting panel this evening. So let's run through the room, and if anybody has any plugs they want to make or anything they want to say, let's go ahead and get that out of the way. So first up, we've got everyone's favorite Southern New Jerseyan, AWAG 1000. What's going on, AWAG?
Not much. Just packing up my stuff, getting ready for the big move, the big migration. Thanks for the invite, as always.
Well, you're always welcome. Mi casa, su casa.
Thank you. We got something big planned in the works there, people, between Night Strike and I and a couple other people.
and you know what? As much as we joke about it, yes, it may mean Night Wagon Gunworks.
There is a possibility.
There is definitely a possibility that may happen.
I can confirm it's a 50-50 chance.
I think it's a bit more than 50-50. I mean,
okay,
I think it's more
51-49.
I think it's more like a 75-25.
I mean, I was just going to say,
It's not a sure thing, but it's a pretty good chance.
Yeah, it's a pretty good chance.
So, anyways, next up, we've got everyone's favorite New Yorker behind enemy lines. We've got Rob D, NY Outcast.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. You can have whatever you want, but you can't take it from me.
Right.
I messed
All
that
right.
up. Hello, people.
You might have messed it up, yeah.
Yeah. Been a long time.
All right, and joining us this evening. He's not always around, but we've got Defense Dad.
Evening. Thanks for having me.
All right, no problem. Anything you want to plug?
No, I haven't. I haven't done much in the last couple weeks. I've just been kind of doing dad stuff, but I'm going to get going back on it.
Yeah, well, stick with it. All right, and last but not least, we have how do you say it in Spanish? Jorge?
Yes, that's the way you can say my name, but it also goes by George.
Yeah, we have Jorge Cortez.
Thank you for the invite. Glad to be here on Hit or Miss.
Yeah,
and you can look for me also on Instagram as South Texas AR Guy. My YouTube is my actual name, George Cortez, but on Instagram it's South Texas AR Guy. So some of you guys probably already have me added, but just for the ones that don't, and you want to know who South Texas AR Guy is, it's me.
Yeah, well, everyone knows that George has hit the big leagues, so he's good.
Yeah.
So we got a couple topics tonight to talk about. What do we want to get into first? I'm thinking, why don't we go with what I had? I had originally. We've got the topic submitted by one of the viewers submitted the topic for this evening, which I thought was good enough to talk about. So if you have a topic you'd like us to talk about, you can request or suggest it either via super chat or email. So the email is nightstrike1@gmail.com. And let us know if you have any topics you'd like to talk about. Any news, any new guns, hell, even accessories, anything you think you might want to talk about, go ahead and let us know. So this topic is submitted by Cowboy Hillbilly. He sent me an article from guns.com. Bump stock ruling vacated to be reheard. So they're going to rehear the bump stock ban, I guess. in court. A federal appeals court last week vacated an earlier decision that upheld the federal government's ban on bump stocks and granted a petition for a rehearing. The U.S. 10th Circuit Court, based in Denver, Colorado, agreed to an en banc petition in the case of Utah gun rights advocate W. Clark Aposhian, backed by the nonprofit New Civil Liberties Alliance, which takes issue with how government regulations moved to outlaw the devices in 2018. Okay. While a 2-1 panel of the same court previously upheld the ban in May by relying on in part on what is referred to as the Chevron deference, which allows courts to default to agency interpretations of ambiguous statuses. Judge Joel Carson III, a Trump appointee, dissented at the time, describing the ban as an overreach, saying, "Turning a blind eye to the government's request and applying Chevron anyway, the majority placed an uninvited thumb on the scale in favor of the government." Okay. Now the full 12-judge court will rehear the challenge with a special focus on if and how Chevron applies. The full 10th Circuit has recognized the troubling consequences of the panel's prior decision, said Caleb Kruckenberg, litigation counsel, NCLA. Chevron deference cannot guarantee a win for an agency, even when the parties agree it doesn't apply, because it contradicts the constitutional rule that criminal laws should be construed against the government. We look forward to the court setting a majority precedent limiting Chevron's unconstitutional reach. Okay. The original lawsuit filed in 2019 in Salt Lake City, U.S. District Court, challenged the proper role of administrative agencies such as the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. Yes, not everyone knows that they also take care of explosives because it's called the ATF, but again, that's what it's on their uniforms, but it's the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. So here you go. And whether the regulations may contradict a law passed by Congress, specifically the definition of a machine gun as set by lawmakers in 1934 and 68. The case argued that ATF essentially rewrote the definition as set out by previous laws, something that was not in the agency's power to do, which it's not. It's not in their power. Between 2008 and 2017, the ATF had issued several classification decisions, concluding that certain bump stock type devices were not machine guns. Upwards of 500,000 bump stocks were sold with current possession of an unregistered device punishable by up to 10 years in federal prison for the first-time offenders. Last October, a federal court held that the government had the power to take property without compensation, which technically it does not. There's a law stating that the government cannot take your property without just compensation. But again, when it comes to guns, as always, second class. Anyway, so thoughts? Don't leave me hanging, guys.
Well, this thing is just wrong. I don't understand how they just come up with this type of ruling and laws and stuff that they want to ban and stuff, because the bump stock is just something that you can already do with your hands, or you can use a bumper stick.
Yeah. But, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Finish, please.
Well, I mean, a bump fire stock is something that that it just makes it a lot easier to do, that you can already do with your hands, or maybe with a bump fire stick, or like a little rod, like a rod of wood. And Mac had done a video a long time ago talking about, this ruling about, about bump firing and stuff. And he even said that, hey, so what? Now my fingers are going to be illegal, I mean, it's going to be, I'm going to have to register it, stuff like that. Because, like I said, you can already bump fire in many different ways, but the bump fire stock just made it a little easier with practice, and
Right.
it's
You
just,
can
like I
technically
said,
use
it's
a
a piece of
string
plastic. Yeah. And so,
or your belt
it's
loop.
you do the belt loop, you can do your hands, you can even like
Or you can
use
do you can do the old school method of just pulling the
yeah.
rifle forward and just leaving your finger in place.
Yeah. So, it's just ridiculous,
So
because
not everyone has to be Jerry Mikulek. Just saying.
yeah, that's right. But it's just ridiculous that they just came up with this because, like I said, it doesn't convert the weapon to a full automatic weapon because it said it bump fires. It does not change any of the mechanics. And like I said, it's a piece of plastic that you use to bump fire.
Right, you're bumping the rifle into firing faster, but not full auto.
Yeah, and that's what's funny because
because full auto assumes that you just hold the trigger down. You're not really holding the trigger down with the bump stock. Your finger is pulling the trigger each and every time, no matter what. It's just doing it fast.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah, it's funny too because like I was gonna say, I've seen 2 TV shows that involved a bump stock on a weapon, and the criminal is firing full auto, and you just see him go, just full stream, not in bursts, not like practicing. This is like first time type of shooter, and he's firing full auto. And I know that the Hollywood or the media gets it all wrong because, they just say, oh, it's a full auto, so he's using a bump fire stock. It's full auto.
Well, remember when you can turn an AR-15 into a full auto rifle with just a coat hanger, there's something wrong.
Yeah, that's too.
I saw that. I'm like, if I didn't want to get arrested, I would totally do that. But if I wanted to get arrested, I'd totally do that. But I don't want to get arrested. So, the ingenuity of some people is just ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
But that's the point. I had a bump stock. Yes, had. I don't have mine anymore. I'm sad. Very, very sad. Had to destroy it, but unfortunately, because I wasn't going to turn it in. Screw that. I'll just throw it away. Mm-hmm. It's in a landfill somewhere.
Yeah, I wanted to get one a long time ago. I wanted to use it as a type of like if the crap hits the fan, and you needed something to help you fire a lot of rounds, if you had so many like invaders or something coming in, home invasion type deal, or like I said, world without law, and everyone's for themselves, But then after a while, they started coming out, they always had these triggers, now you got the Fostech trigger, you got all these 2-pound, 2.5, 3-pound triggers, it's, oh, well, that's a lot easier, you don't have to deal with the bump stock and stuff like that. I mean, it would still be cool to have one as, like I said, a range toy, to go out in the range and just fire off rounds and stuff. But,
that's what mine was for. It was just a range toy. I wasn't going to ever, I would never recommend or advocate that somebody go and use it for self-defense, because you're better off in semi-auto mode than you are in bump fire mode.
Yes, indeed. You never know. You can always hit somebody else that you didn't intend to get hit by a round.
Right. So, bump fire is not. Anyway, so moving on, though, it's it's good that there's something going on. I'm gonna mix around some of the topics. So, let's see. We talked about the bump fire. We talked about All right, so we're gonna move away from the United States, and we're gonna look towards our neighbors, because while yes, I know Night Stripe, you're supposed to talk about American stuff. Well, we're talking about North American stuff. We're expanding a little bit because apparently there's been a petition. More than 200,000 people signed a petition to scrap Canada's gun ban. Okay. Justin Trudeau's ban on military-style firearms hasn't gotten any more popular since it was announced earlier this year in the wake of a spree killing in Nova Scotia by a man who illegally armed himself with firearms and posed as a police officer to target his victims. An online petition called for an end to the ban drew responses from more than 230,000 Canadians, and according to CBC, one of their news outlets, it's the most popular parliamentary online petition ever filed in the country. So, they go on to say, the petition asked the Prime Minister to immediately scrap his firearms confiscation regime, calling it undemocratically imposed without debate during a pandemic while Parliament is suspended, and an assault on the Canadian democracy. Canadians are wondering why the government has chosen to confiscate legally owned firearms during a suspended Parliament. MP Michelle Rempel-Gartner said in an interview with CBC News, "When we know what is going that is going to do little to reduce the issue of violent crime in Canada in terms of firearms that are obtained legally." Okay. Rempel-Gartner, who represents a district in the province of Alberta, is absolutely right that Trudeau's gun ban isn't going to do anything to tackle violent crime in Canada, much of which is driven by gang violence surrounded by both illegal drugs and illegally obtained firearms. Instead of a ban on assault weapons, Rempel-Gartner's petition calls on the government to crack down on firearms obtained illegally, specifically targeting the prevention of smuggled firearms across the U.S. border. Canada has one of the most rigorous firearms acquisition licensing regimes in the world, she said. When we're looking at the very important issue of preventing firearms violence in Canada, we have to look at where the firearms that are used in violent crimes are coming from, and we know that the vast majority of those are illegally obtained and primarily smuggled in from the United States. Which I don't like. She's blaming the United States for their gun problem. Why not just go after? I don't know, keep them in prison or send them to like the Arctic North. Build a prison in the Arctic North and send them there. I don't know. Even some police officers in Canada have acknowledged that making it illegal to own some of the most common modern sporting rifles isn't going to impact gang members and drug dealers fueling the violence. Police have seen a 58% increase in gun violence over the past 5 years, but Winnipeg Police Inspector Max Weddle doesn't believe a gun ban would do much to stop it. Weddle says, speaking to the media, with close to $1 million in drugs in front of him following a recent bust, said the drug trade is the leading cause for the uptick because those who sell illicit drugs need to protect themselves and their property. It's a ruthless business, he said. And it's that ruthlessness that leads Waddle to believe, in his opinion, a ban on guns will not stop illicit and illegal drugs in Winnipeg. The reality is, if criminals want to get their hands on it, they're going to get their hands on it, he said. He used the drugs in front of him as an example. They're all banned. It's not going to do anything. It will come from a legal means again. He pointed to the legalization of cannabis, saying the police haven't seen a downturn in the black market. It's still as strong or stronger, he said. It's the exact same principle. Canada's Parliament won't be back in session until later this month. But when lawmakers return, Rempel Gartner will officially file the petition, which will trigger a mandated response by the federal government. I doubt that Trudeau's response will be to kill his gun ban, but the issue isn't going to simply disappear. As part of his plan, Trudeau announced a 2-year amnesty for existing gun owners to hand over their now legal firearms. That amnesty is set to expire in mid-2022, a little more than a year before the deadline for Canada's next federal election in October of 2023. It's quite possible that federal elections will take place before then, but either way, I suspect that Trudeau's gun ban is going to be a key issue for many voters in the country's midsection, which has seen the most opposition to Trudeau's anti-gun agenda. Justin Trudeau may have imposed his nationwide gun ban, but voters still have the opportunity to undo the damage by returning the Liberal Party to a minority when they get the opportunity to cast their next vote. And that's the end of that. But for reference, anyone wondering, give or take, the population of the United States is about 328 million, okay? That's how many people we got in this country right now. Canada, they've got about 37 million. They've got like only a little over, a quarter of what we got. Not even that. So
I wish them luck.
Yeah. If they can get those numbers from like 200,000 to like 1 million, then they probably would be better off. But again, doing something to fight it is better than not doing anything and letting it happen. And
I think the fact that it's one of the most popular things that they've ever had, one of the most popular petitions that said speaks volumes.
Yeah, most popular in the ever filed in the country. So that says something right there. I really hope they can fight this and get it removed so they can continue enjoying firearms. Granted, not on the scale that we do, but closer. Though I guess in some parts of the United States, gun laws are just as bad as Canada's or worse. California.
Yeah, I saw this one documentary on how
he's sick again.
Nope, that's it.
He's got the COVID.
Nope, I'm already over it. But go ahead, George. What were you talking about?
I'd seen a documentary on the internet, and it was about how gun owners obtain firearms in Canada and stuff. And you would have to go to a certain training. You do the application. It's like if you do a license to carry type of application. Go through the backgrounds and stuff, and then once you pass that, you have to go to a training, which is like hunter safety course, and how to unload and load a firearm and stuff like that. Know some of the rules and regs. And then once you get your card, I forgot what it's called, but you get your card that you're able to obtain a firearm, and then you can order it. You can order online. The thing was that I'm not sure if this is correct, but it was weird because what the person did is she had ordered a lever action in 357, 38 357 caliber, and she ordered offline, and she picked it up at the post office. So I was kind of like, they didn't say guns, they didn't say FFL or any kind of stuff like that. So I don't know how true is that. Maybe it's different in Canada. I have no idea. But she picked up a firearm, and then she goes through all the showing how it is to take a gun and fire. A popular sport up there is that EPSC. EPSC, yeah, that's a real popular sport up there, especially for people who want to get into firearms.
Actually, it's popular all over the United States too.
Yeah, it's popular all over here too. Yes, but up there in Canada, it's real popular because dealing with their.
I think Foos does IPSC.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah. So like you just going through all the documentary was just going through all like how some people who want to get into firearms, what do they have to do to obtain a firearm, and how they're able to shoot and transport and all kind of stuff. There's all different kinds of regs and stuff. So it was a real interesting documentary. It was only like 30 minutes. So they really didn't go through the whole thing. But I know there's other YouTube videos out there that some people explain Canada's gun laws and stuff and what you can do and you can't do and stuff. But it's very interesting because it's like way different than here in the United States.
Yeah. And Scott, I see your email, and no, I'm not going to tell everyone about the Digit Trigger because $600 for one? Are you kidding me? No.
Oh man,
absolutely not. I would not pay $600 for the Digit Trigger. I'm sorry.
I didn't even know it was that expensive.
$599 with shipping or tax. It becomes $600 fucking dollars.
Also, you can use a pistol grip that's same as a paintball gun. You put an electric trigger on there and make it shoot different modes.
I'm going to say this right now. You can buy a rifle for that much money. Doesn't matter what kind of rifle, but $600 can buy a rifle. Just flat out. Just saying. Anyways, so it's good to hear that they're starting to get some pushback on the ban in Canada. All right. So moving on, we're going into other news territory. Brownells donates $50,000 to CRPA for California magazine limit fight. That's right. Brownells is donating $50,000 to the California Rifle and Pistol Association to help fund the fight to restore freedom and standard capacity magazines to California gun owners. In August, the 3-judge panel of the United States Court of Appeals, Ninth Circuit, upheld a previous decision against California's ban on magazines in the Duncan versus Becerra case. The panel determined on a ban on magazines with capacity of over 10 rounds violates the Second Amendment rights of Californians. In an effort to delay striking down California's draconian magazine ban, the California Attorney General's office petitioned for an en banc review of the panel's ruling, extending the struggle for California gun owners to regain their constitutionally guaranteed rights. To help see that struggle through to a victorious finish, Brownells has contributed $50,000 to CRPA's efforts to the cause. The California Rifle and Pistol Association is proud of the partnership with Brownells to fight for the rights of all Americans to exercise their Second Amendment rights, said CRPA Foundation Director of... Who's slapping?
That's me clapping for Brownells, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, let me finish.
Where's everybody else? This is awesome.
Yeah. No. This is good news. That's why when we're talking about it. Okay. CRPA Foundation Director of Development, Rick Travis. Yep, he's a Travi. Brownell's generous donation will be used 100% in the fight to see that the Duncan versus Becerra case to a successful conclusion in restoring the Second Amendment in California. In the ruling against California's magazine ban, if the rulings against the California magazine ban are upheld, they could serve as precedent in similar decisions against other similar bans enacted by anti-gun politicians in other states. So that's the end of it. The rest is just information on Brownells and the California Rifle and Pistol Association. So, I can give you... Everyone knows the link for Brownells. It's literally just brownells.com. But I will post a link for the CRPA out there on the YouTube side for everyone. I'll also do it for those here in the chat, because I'm not going to be like that.
cheaper than dirt donate?
No.
Good Brownells. That's cool.
Yeah. But
Awesome.
I figured we'd talk about some good news and semi-good news, you know. Granted, you know, there's not right now, as you all know, there's not a lot of good news to go around. So I'm trying to find the good news that we can talk about before we get bogged down and depressed by all the bad stuff, because there's an equal amount of bad stuff as there is good stuff. So, you know, I've got a small topic we're going to talk about next. As everyone knows, the second annual Washington, D.C. rally has decided to go virtual. Okay, so yeah, I know I don't like that either. But they've listed an announcement of the speakers that are going to be attending and whatnot. So the speakers that are going to be attending is Amanda Sefcool, Chris Chang, Dana Lash, Eric Blandford, otherwise known as Iraq Veteran 8888, Clint Macro, Maj Touré, Rebecca Schmo, and Tim Peterson. Among the few. They might have more people. I don't know. It just depends. So, let's go on with this. Last year's inaugural 2A rally held on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. featured dozens of speakers and focused on the message that we are the gun lobby. Just days after the second annual 2A rally announced that permit restrictions have led to the need to shift to a virtual rally this year. The organizing committee has announced its first group of speakers for 2020. The lineup for the October 24th event includes returning speakers from last year's inaugural event held on the West Lawn of the U.S. Capitol building and newcomers. The biggest name in this first announcement is well-known conservative gun rights advocate Dana Lash. Other first-time speakers include Tim Peterson, military veteran who grew up in the neighborhoods of South Minneapolis, recently ravaged by civil unrest. Amanda Sefcool, host of Eye on the Target Radio and part of the DC Project Foundation. Rebecca Schmo, gun rights and freedom advocate, who was recently the host of the To the Republic podcast. Clint Macro, a firearms skills instructor, founder of Trigger Pressers Union, and key figure in the fight for gun rights in Western Pennsylvania. Returning speakers announced today include Eric Blandford, as we all know, Iraq Veteran 8888, Top Shot Season 4 champion Chris Chang, we all know him, and Maj Touré, founder of Black Guns Matter. This year's 2A rally will be broadcast live on October 24th. The event will offer 30 speakers with a great deal of thought diversity addressing to the topic of celebrating and defending the rights protected by the Second Amendment. For more information, follow the rally's Instagram feed at 2A Rally. Rally for your Second Amendment Rights Facebook page, and be sure to click interested or going on their Facebook event for frequent updates and future announcements. So, why don't we just post the links for that out there in the chat so people can.
So why is it canceled?
Well,
did they say exactly why?
Because of COVID-19.
Oh, I don't know. To me, it's not the same. It's not even the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't understand how it's supposed to do much. You're not interacting directly with somebody. You're not being seen.
I understand that, but they canceled Gun Rights Policy Conference, which was supposed to be not this week, but next week. Supposed to be next week, but they canceled it. And they said they're going to do it virtually. And, that's great. But, I don't think I want to be sitting in front of a computer, watching people talk all day. No offense. I mean, I work on the computer and whatnot. I understand that, you're already sitting in front of the computer working anyways. But the fact is that normally I get up and do things and, I walk away from the computer and I come back to it, just because sitting down too much is bad. And I mean, if I wanted to laze around on the couch with it on, I could probably do that. But it seems wrong to cancel it. I mean, I could have gone down to Florida. It probably would have been fine because I've already gotten over it. So yes, that doesn't mean I'm immune to what's going on, but the issue is that, I mean, why not continue doing it? I don't know. People are getting way too worried about a virus. That's my point. It's being blown out of proportion. I had it. It sucked. I was incapacitated for a week or two, and then I had to self-quarantine for, an additional 2 weeks after I got over it. Oh, well.
Oh, especially with the rally, that would be an outside thing in a field.
Yeah,
I mean,
it would be outside in a
you
field.
were spread out a little bit, it would even look better as far as pictures. So I don't.
Yeah. It may also have to do with how DC may still be under sort of a self-quarantine situation where they don't want anyone from out of state coming in, and they probably don't want anybody, holding any large-scale events. Those may still be, banned. So.
Yeah, it's just not the same.
It's not. So with that, that's that. What else do we have to talk about? I got one more. I think we can get it. So this one's from The Truth About Guns. Most of them are from, except one of them was from Bearing Arms and Guns.com. But this one says, "Be careful what you wish for. Gun grabbers worry NRA's successor would be far more pro 2A." I don't understand that. Anyways, wow. Alex Yavlon is a former writer at Michael Bloomberg's anti-gun agitprop generation station, The Trace. In the Slate piece, quote, below, he indulged in a little wish fulfillment, fantasizing about what a post-NRA gun rights landscape might look like if the New York Attorney General succeeds in taking the gun rights giant down. Even the ACLU concedes that full dissolution of the NRA would be wrong and highly unlikely. And Yavlon concludes that any successor organization to rise from the NRA's ashes would likely be far more doctrinaire in its support of the Second Amendment than the NRA ever was. If New York Attorney General Letitia James succeeds in dissolving the National Rifle Association, the court will direct her to find other groups who could take control of the NRA's infrastructure, which could restart a national gun rights advocacy group. She would be bound by law to solely consider whether successor groups share the NRA's values and are free from any taint of corruption. The groups would have to be absolutely squeaky clean, but they could have really aggressive Second Amendment politics. New York Council of Nonprofits attorney Michael West said, "Though the NRA has defined the national rights movement for decades, it is by no means the only player on the scene. Rivals have grown in prominence in recent years, and many of the lesser-known groups are in fact much more extreme in their pro-gun stances and closer to the far-right fringe." They're not closer to far-right. I'm sorry. No. Take Gun Owners of America, a smaller but very influential group that bills itself as the only no-compromise gun lobby in Washington. An implicit rebuke to the more mainstream NRA, GOA arguably tanked the Post Sandy Hook Manchin-Toomey gun reform bill that the NRA was initially prepared to accept. Its former director, Larry Pratt, isn't shy about cozying up to militias and white power groups. And that's not right at all. That's not right. That's fake. Yet there's no evidence the group is involved in any financial shenanigans. So GOA could credibly claim to be an inheritor to the NRA. Or look to the states, where most gun policy is actually made. Though the NRA is the only group with the muscle to regularly shape federal gun policy, independent local groups frequently take a larger role in state policy fights. Even before the NRA's recent troubles, it was state groups that filed lawsuits challenging gun laws, even without the support of the NRA, said Robert Spitzer, a political scientist at SUNY Cortland, who studies the gun rights movement. As the NRA has been sidelined by the investigation and other financial crises, Spitzer noted that many of these state groups have picked up the slack. State gun groups can turn out huge numbers of supporters. For instance, when Democrats retook the Virginia's legislature after the most recent elections and promised to vote on a slate of gun control measures, it was the Virginia Citizens Defense League, not the NRA, which stayed away, that organized a massive rally outside the state capitol, which attracted scores of militias and other armed far-right extremists, some from out of state. Well, there were some people that went there that were from out of state, but none of them were far-right. I'm sorry. It's just, no. I refuse to believe that. The effort successfully stopped Democrat majorities from passing an assault weapons ban. Well, I believe it merely only postponed it, quite honestly, because, just because you rally in front of the state capitol once with a lot of people does not mean that they'll not continue trying.
Oh, sounds like this guy's got a little bias and going on. He's from a very small town,
he's from an educational
Portland, New York, and that's there's like nothing there but the college.
Remember,
not saying that matters too much, but the area that he's located in, it's very sheltered, I guess you could state. So,
yeah. So, anyway, longtime NRA power brokers, untouched by the scandal, could also simply start new groups. Chris Cox was the NRA's former lobbyist and was seen for years as Wayne LaPierre's likely successor. He was forced to resign in June 2019 after LaPierre accused him of using the allegations of corruption to push out the elder leader. Cox is someone who could be well positioned to create a more reputable, reliable gun rights organization, said West. Cox could incorporate a new nonprofit, presumably in a solidly red state, with friendlier oversight. He'd already have the relationships with Republican legislators that a new gun rights group would need. And that's the end of that. But the point is that, it's the NRA. We know the NRA is going through problems, and primarily this is just speculation that, if the New York Attorney General does succeed, it's not going to kill the NRA. It's just going to, make a more pro-2A group step up. And quite honestly, that's what we all want. We want a group that is more, I would say, more inclined to fight for our 2A rights than just kind of sit on the sidelines.
Like, compromise with GOA.
And then maybe, sit on the sidelines and then maybe, wade out into the water a little bit and then go back to the sidelines like the NRA has done in the past, 20 years? I mean, I'm telling you, man, ever since Charlton Heston died, the NRA's gone downhill.
Yeah, it sure has.
So after reading the information on both organizations, I had no hesitation signing up to be a member with GOA. So just lines up better. So maybe it is just time for something a little more proactive to be taking the NRA's place, or, you know, partnering with what's left of the NRA or something.
Well,
you know, as far as certifications, things like that, insurances, you know. But it'd be nice to see something a little less compromised, and get some things heading back in our direction.
Yeah. So it's just we have to talk about it because it's the NRA, and because it's a topic. I know some of the guys out there are not, you know, too happy with the NRA. Some like the NRA, and, you know, hey, if you like the NRA, great. But, you know, I think you'd like the NRA a bit more if they, you know, worked a little more for your 2A rights. That's all I'm saying.
Some people like smoking crack and jumping off bridges. Everybody's different.
You know, I'm a member of the GOA. I'm a member of the Second Amendment Foundation, and until it expires, I'm a member of the NRA as well. And that's only because a family member went and got me a membership, thinking they were doing something good for me. And it's like, well, thanks, but I really didn't want a membership. They're like, oh, but you're into guns anyway, so you can have it. And I'm like, okay. I'm not going to say no, but, you know, I would have preferred you donating to, like, the GOA, the 2AF instead. No.
Well, if this changes around the way the NRA is and becomes into a better pro 2A organization as it was before, they'd probably get their supporters back, you know.
They get a ton of support, and, you know, I would like to see them get support. You know, quite honestly, whether they have any traction in some states or not, you know, they should have people in every state doing something. I mean, an organization as big as an NRA, they should have at least a small. They don't have to have a large headquarter office. They just need to rent like a small office in every state, you know, where, you know, they have, you know, people assigned to lobby for that state. You know, that's what they should be doing, but they're not.
Sure, they
that'll work out. That would work out best.
You know,
say give Wayne the boot. Anybody responsible with this, you know, accountants, things like that. Give power back to the members and actually do something besides try to compromise. Then, you know, I'd probably sign up with them. But yeah, that's. I
mean,
the way I see it. Yeah, they're just
the NRA does a lot of good for the educational programs they do, for helping out ranges, and, you know. Say what you will about them, they do a lot of good. But unfortunately, even though they do a lot of good, they falter on other areas. Whether they should be doing that more so instead, I'm not going to say that. Okay, you know, they're doing what they're doing, but, you know, I would like to see them fight a bit more, and that's just me.
Yeah, you can't keep stuff by giving stuff away. Like, you're not going to be able to keep, you know, your rights by giving pieces of it away all the time.
Yeah. See, what I think a lot of the legislators in our government forget. There's this thing called compromise. It's not, oh, we give you this and then we take this away. No. See, compromise is you give us something in exchange for us giving you something. Not you get to keep what you have already, just, you know, one portion of it, and we take the rest of it away. That's not how compromise works. But unfortunately, a lot of our legislators don't understand the actual definition of compromise.
It seems like it's kind of the nickel and dime effect, where we started with $1, and they said, well, you got to compromise with us. So we gave them 10 cents, and then they came back the next 6 months and said, well, you got to compromise with us. Something else happened. And then we gave them another 10 cents or whatever. And then we're going down, you know, 90, 80, 70, 60. We're compromising ourselves out of our rights.
To where eventually you're left with pennies.
Exactly.
So again, we got some comments out on the YouTube side, so let's look at some of the comments. Let's see. Travis T is commenting on the Digi triggers. They canceled recall orders to sell at triple price.
That's messed up. 600 is a lot of money.
Crazy.
No, wait. He's talking about the red dots. Red dots. Okay.
Well, any product. That's bullshit.
That's cheaper than dirt territory.
Indeed.
Yep. Let's see. Does anyone really think she'd follow that law? He's talking about the Attorney General. I don't even want to speculate on a New York Attorney General following the law, because more often than not, New York government does not follow the law.
That's funny.
It's follow the law as they interpret it. And unfortunately, you can't just follow the law as it's written. You have to interpret it differently. And sorry, but my interpretation of a boot up your ass is still a boot up your ass. Just saying. AC97 says it's really a shame Wayne LaPierre and pals are such a piece of work. It is. Margaret Radio says NRA isn't going anywhere. We as gun owners need to get off the couch and be more proactive. I agree. We need to do a bit more. Unfortunately, with the pandemic, we are limited in what we can and can't do. DTM62, their response to you, NY Outcast, is I'm fairly sure no one likes jumping off bridges more than once. And I tend to agree on that one. What do you think, Rob?
Well, in most cases, I'd probably agree. Although there is some lower bridges where kids tend to jump off into the water and swim, but still probably not advisable.
No, not advisable, and no one would ever recommend that. AC97 is also saying not real activists negotiating rights away, not real Americans, as abbreviations for the NRA abbreviates. So there you go. All right. Why don't we run through the room and go ahead and tidy this up? And is Sandhills Shooter doing his chat tonight? Does anybody know?
I don't. He should be doing it, unless he has something else going on.
Well, he's doing it. I just got the email, so we're gonna pack up and go through the room. So first up, AWAG, do you have any final thoughts? Anything you want to plug?
Just check out my channel. I haven't really posted much on there just because I've been super busy lately. I'll try to get a couple of videos up before I leave. One of the videos that I'm going to do is basically take you a tour of the local range that I have in New Jersey. As much as most people think that New Jersey is super bad, and I do agree with them, the ranges in New Jersey are actually pretty good.
No, New Jersey's super bad.
Super bad. Law-wise, it's super bad, but practicality, it's okay.
DTemp62, don't say that. You might find yourself murdered in a back alley with all your money and credit cards still in your wallet, and them saying it was a gang-related murder. Remember what happened to that one guy. Don't say you have anything on the Clintons. It's not a good idea. Those people are ruthless.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with the Clintons. You may have a FedEx truck show up at your house and bam, bam, bam. You never know.
Yeah, just don't do it, man. It's not advisable. Anyways, Rob, got anything you want to plug? Anything you want to let people know about?
I got nothing on the Clintons. Just start off with that. Other than that, no. Just thanks for having me. Thanks for the invite. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Obviously, check out all the great people on the panel here. And if you haven't subscribed, then give them a sub. Take care, and catch you next time.
All right. Jorge, do you have anything you want to plug or talk about?
I just like to say thank you for the invite. First time on Hit or Miss. And just as NY Outcast said, subscribe to the guys. Continue everyone being pro 2A and give the good fight, because you would never know. One day, if we don't do anything, our rights can be taken away. Also, check me out on Instagram, South Texas AR Guy, and on YouTube, it's my name, George Cortez or Jorge Cortez. I appreciate the subs, even though right now I don't have any video, I don't have any content, so I just appreciate the subs. Maybe soon, maybe one day, I'll try to make up some videos and load them up.
Dude, just get your cell phone on a tripod, and there you go. You're done.
Yeah, that'll work.
Transfer it to your computer, man. It's not hard. I mean, if the easiest way to do it is like use something like Google Drive.
Yeah, cool.
So
that'll work.
Apparently D1062 says it's his communist iPhone he's got. Travis T out there saying that phone will lead to your suicide. Yep, that phone is actively working against him on so many levels. All right, so last but certainly not least, we got Guns and Barbecue. Buddy, do you have anything you want to let everybody know about? Any topic, announcement, or a plug for your channel?
We've got 2 pro-gun bills headed to the Senate here in PA, House Bill 1747 and House Bill 2440. I just did a video on those yesterday, so if anybody wants to go check it out, share it, whatever you need to do, let anybody in Pennsylvania that know that these are happening so they can pick up the phones and harass their senators and, put their feet to the fire, let them know that we want this to go through. It would be a great help.
All right. So, again, anyone that wants to check out GunTube.org, sign up if you're not already a member of GunTube.org. Visit the store if you'd like to support GunTube. And with that, we're done. We're going to get out of here. We're going to go on and do other things. Probably jump into Get Off My Lawn chat by Sandhill Shooter. So check that out next. And with that, we'll see you guys on Thursday for the Thursday edition strike, and then we'll see you guys again on Friday for the Friday night strike. So with that, guys, we'll see you later. Thank you all for listening. This was Hit or Miss.
Adios, Felicia.
How do I turn this damn thing off?
Get your GunTube CLP.
I don't think that applies in this situation. Well, it does, but it doesn't.
I meant Felicia.
Bye-bye, Felicia.
Adios, Felicia.
Felicia needs that lube.
Adios.
Keep your hand out the cookie jar.
We're going to steal one from Gary. Give them the bird.
Give a hoot, don't pollute.
Wow. That's almost as bad as Be Kind, Rewind. All right, with that, shut up, infringed!